Now, contrary to what you dipshits told me, I'm seeing 3 people today. Do you now know, dipshits, who the 3 I'm seeing? Raise your hands, dipshits. Okay, good, okay. There's a very good reason why I hammer on this so much. Show me your friends and I show you your future. Even though I went back to look at a couple of your files just to refresh my memory that I'm not losing my mind or getting Alzheimer's. And some of you are in family with your business, your brothers, your wife. And you've got some kind of justification how it's okay. Some of you not sure what, I can't even say this without sticking in my throat. Is there any difference between having $10 million and $100 million? I mean, I want to cry. I want to fucking cry. You have no fucking idea. You have no conception. And all that tells me is that you don't understand the sacrifices that are required. That's what it says. You don't know if there's any difference between $10 and $100 million. What are you, a fucking idiot? I mean, even the monkeys in this room know that. Well, not all the monkeys, because obviously one of you wrote it. Obviously one of you wrote it. I didn't just make this up. I didn't just pull this shit out of the sky. There's a geometric motherfucking difference between $10 and $100 million. Geometric. And but I hammer this home so much is because it's so critical. And another way of looking at this, when I say that you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with, is that, and those 5 people are your employees, for those of you that have employees. Okay, Machiavelli said what? What did Machiavelli say? He said a lot of things, good things. Exactly. And what if I'm going to judge you by the fucking Nimrods that you got around you? And that's what I don't like about virtual offices, because you don't even know what the Nimrods and whether they're working or not. And haven't had virtual offices for 15 years, I can tell you right now they're not working. And they got at least 3 jobs. You can't build a high-performance organization with 90% of your people in virtual. You just can't do it. You can't do it. Okay. But if we're going to measure you by the people that you have surrounding you, let's give the benefit of the doubt and cut your family out, which are all losers. Let's cut them out, okay? Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. But what about the rest of the people? How would you look? How would you stack up? Based on who you're surrounded by. Forget the 5 and forget your family, forget that. But in general, how would you stack up? Now, I'd stack up pretty fucking good. And you know by definition you wouldn't stack up well. And for those of you that are in business with your families, I got 2 brothers. One of which is a very high performance guy, well, I'm not in business with him. So this is crucial. This is critical. Okay, surround yourself with those on the same mission. Is that what your team looks like? Forgetting that the poor lion just got shot by the fucking dentist, the moron from Wisconsin. Okay, is that what your team looks like? No, we know it doesn't, right? By definition, we know. This is not your team. And especially old Burka over here. I mean, I can just imagine what his team fucking looks like. Because I've gone down the Burka road. I've seen the light. I have. I almost said something racist just then. I have Muslim mentees. And the hard motherfucking work. So, now in the prides, the women do all the work, they hunt the thing, and the males just sit around and get fat, okay? But that aside, but I mean, that's a pride. And Sally and I have walked in with the prides just like this. Walk when they're walking around, you know, like this, and they kind of look up at you. You know, and it's fun. It's fun. But that's not your team. That may never be your team. But that's our goal. Because if you don't have everybody on the same... The old cliche used to be, you know, are we all rowing in the same direction? That kind of bullshit. You've heard that before, right? Okay. Are we all going in the same direction? In your particular cases, I'm just praying you're all in the same direction. Forget about rowing together. Now, the QLA machine, this is a simplistic schematic of how it works. But if it was that fucking easy, I could just send you out this, you know, and you don't have to come here. You watch, do I have to be an alpha male? Is QLA for me? How to get the fucking money and with this, and that's it. Because that's what we're going to learn, basically. You know, find the product. Now, you know, again, most of you, I reviewed everybody's file again just to make sure that I hadn't forgotten anything. And a lot of you are in businesses that are, shall we say, suspect. I'll put it nice. Suspect. A couple of you want to grow your business, but you don't want to work any harder. Although you're willing to take risks, on the one hand. A couple of you said, and again, I can't say it with a straight face, I realize I have more choices for my family if I have more wealth. But then in the second question, but, and I mean, do you guys actually read? Now, some of you, it's very well written. Some of you can write. But just because you can write, that doesn't mean you can perform. You know. Tony's done a lot of good for a lot of people. But what Tony does and what I do aren't the same thing. You know, and some of you are Tony devotees. That's great. He's super. He's a good guy. He's touched many, many, many more millions than I have. And that's great. But he doesn't do what I do. This is the program. And this is what you came for. I'm not going to ask you how many are in 12-step programs. Okay, I'm not going to ask that. I used to ask that back in the 90s. You know, a third of the class, you know. But 12-step is 12 steps. Mine's only a 7-step program. But unlike the 12-step programs, if you make a mistake and you drink again or you take drugs again, oh, that's all right, Mark. You know, my name's Mark and I'm an alcoholic. Or my name's Mark or my name's Dan and I'm a this, that, or shoplifter, whatever. And then you slip. Oh, that's all right. And everybody goes, eh. Well, it isn't all right in this fucking deal. I don't accept slips. And I passed the slide of the suicidal guy because I wanted to start, which was the next slide after I ended, because I wanted to start this part of the program on an upbeat, not with a guy blowing his brains out. I don't know if we got any. Maybe we do. Attempted suicides here. That's why we locked the tower. The other camera crew that was here, I had to have her go get a key to unlock the tower so we could go up on top. And why do you lock it? Why do you think we lock it? Because we got potential leapers. When I first moved to India, I wanted to know, we'd go into these big office buildings. We were looking for office space, and they're built around like a park or something, and the offices are around in a circle. And there's nets, these huge nets. You know, and I go and I ask the person that's showing me the office space, Sally and I, and they says, "Oh, that's for leapers." I didn't know what she meant at the time, but then, I mean, people, they get bad grades, they leap. Now, if I leaped into those nets, I'd go through the nets like fucking a hot knife through butter. But for a little Indian guy that weighs 100 pounds, I mean, they made me bounce up. But I mean, anybody big guy, you'd be dead. You just go right through. I mean, big guys, those nets are not built. And the thing I couldn't understand is the square in the nets. They weren't tightly woven nets. They were loose nets, you know, with big fucking holes in them. And anyway.
Not the quantum leap you
No. That's it. That's exactly right. It's not the quantum leap that I envisaged, as they say here, or envisioned. That's for sure. Okay. This is the program. It's a 7-step program. It's got a few other steps in between. But at the end of the day, and a couple of you I reread, and you said, I don't have any exit plan, but I may have an IPO. But that is an exit, dipshit, just so you don't, you know, the person that wrote that knows who I'm talking about. But he's not the only one. A couple other people said too. But I mean, this is, you know, create your own personal foundation, clarify your vision, building perception, creating your dream team, your quantum leap, war action plan, pay yourself, your directors, and exit. Realize the wealth off of your efforts. Strange times are these which we live when old and young are taught falsehoods in school. Does that sound like today? Yes. And the person that dares to tell the truth is called at once a lunatic and a fool. Plato wrote that 400 BC. Nothing's changed. They were doing QLA several thousand years ago. I may be the only one that's ever memorialized it. Again, there's no work-life balance. I get tired of saying it, but again, I ran through all your things, and some of you guys are still looking for work-life balance. I went through, I said, before I start pounding this shit again, I mean, yeah, well, there ain't any of you. Ain't, that's not good English, but for some of you that English is a 4th or 5th language, it's good enough for you.
Dan?
Yes, sir.
There's no work-life balance if you want to be high performer.
Correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely. There is work-life balance if you want to work in a library.
9 to 5 is
Yep, work in a library. Guys, I hate as the English would say, I don't like to tell you, some of you may be better off in a library with a pension. Or you walk out the main gate, which is that gate, and it's a thoroughfare for lorries, trucks. And you just wait, you hide behind the little steel thing there, and you wait, and you leap out in front of them. That'll be as far as your quantum leap is, and you let it hit you. Or you talk one of my staff into giving you the key to the tower, and you be a proper leaper, you know? And you do a swan dive up the 78-foot tower. When I was up there with the camera crew yesterday, the little lady that was the producer, she's not tall enough to the parapet was higher than her. She said, well, I couldn't leap off of this. And so then I grabbed her. I said, well, you know, with a little help, you could.
Man, I think you found your tagline, quantum leaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Or proper leaper.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and we're talking about work-life balance. Now look at Napoleon Hill, who interviewed the 500 richest people that Dale Carnegie introduced him to. These 500, of these three, only 3 of the 500 almost had peace of mind. Almost. And I equate that's 100 years ago, not 180 years ago, 90 years. I equate that to balanced life. So of the 500 richest cocksuckers that were on the fucking planet back then, three motherfuckers almost had peace of mind. And the world hasn't changed any. So as a fraction, 3 out of 500 is pretty fucking low. But you guys that aren't anywhere near the 500 richest on the planet, you want work-life balance. And yet have cajoled yourself into thinking you want to be high performance. YouTubers, see you tonight. Thank you.